So this is a project that I've been working on in school about breaking barriers. I have done research on interracial marriage, including interviewing my grandparents. What was your life like before meeting each other?
We met at a summer camp where we were both working. I had been there the summer before, and I had made some friends. I grew up on a dairy farm in Maryland.
What was my life like? Oh my. Well, I spent a lot of time with my family. I have had a sister who's 2 years younger and brothers who were fraternal twins who were 4 years younger than I.
What were your first thoughts when you guys met?
And I thought, boy, well, I'll never be interested in him.
Oh my. Well, we had met in a summer camp, and in the 60s, that was an environment that was pretty, it was pretty open.
Were you afraid or worried about the consequences your marriage might bring in the future? If so, why?
We didn't really think too much about it. We were dating. There could be difficult situations that come out of it. And we said, oh yeah, we know. What did we know, right? We figured we could handle whatever we had.
Well, I was 20, 21 years old. I wasn't thinking about the future.
What thoughts were going through your head when you found out that you had to leave your hometown and move to New York to get married?
I knew that going home to Maryland, to a small town to get married, would create problems, that there would be a lot of people in Port Deposit, Maryland, who would not think it was a good idea.
Did you lose any friends or family when they found out that you were in a relationship with someone of a different race? How did you feel?
My parents got a lot of resistance. They were told they should disown me, that they should, they shouldn't let me be part of the family anymore. And I think the whole county, Cecil County, I think knew very quickly. When we moved back to Baltimore County in 2013, I got together with a woman I went to high school with, and we were talking about the experience, and she said that when I said, I didn't really realize when I was growing up that in part of Cecil County there was an active Ku Klux Klan, because it wasn't part of any experience that my family had. But Mary Lou said to me, oh yeah, she said, we'd be out driving sometimes and see a cross burning somewhere. And she said, and her father gave her a hard time about that she should not be a friend of mine. I would go once in a while and visit. When I was home to visit my parents, I would go to see her. And apparently he told her that she should not be friends with me, that she should, and she said, she told him to mind his own business or something. I forget exactly what she said, but I didn't really think about the fact that that she, that some of my friends here would deal with the ramifications of it.
I'm laughing because I had a cousin who lived in Connecticut. And he was we're about the same age. He was maybe a year older than I. And he says, oh, you're hanging out with a white woman. I was like, what are you talking about? I used to crack me up. But the only thing that happened that was interesting to me along those lines was that my mother came from a big family, and she was like the youngest. She had lots of older brothers and sisters, and she had to contact them all and tell them what was going on and kind of get their opinion about what they thought.
What were your reactions when you heard about the Loving versus Virginia case?
I don't think I really was aware of it until later, because we got married in 1966, and I didn't realize it was still against the law in Maryland.
Oh. My reaction was, it's about time. It's like, really? This is 1967, and we had gotten married a year before. It's like, are you serious? It took all this time?
What were you thinking about when the two of you were getting married? Happy, stressed? Were you scared of the challenges that may come?
I was happy because I was in love. You know, I wanted to live with this guy. I wanted to be together with him. And I knew there would be challenges, but a lot of it was, I think, more just how we were going to manage.
Maggie. I was thinking, this is a good thing, right? I was just hopeful that things went well.
When you had kids, were you worried about them not fitting in? If so, why?
I do know, I was sitting on a park bench one day, and another little girl asked me why Melanie's skin wasn't the same color as mine. And I said, well, you know, her father's skin is dark brown and mine's light, and so she's in the middle, as I call it, my mini genetics lesson. And the mother next to the kid said, oh, I didn't think she noticed. And I thought, well, to myself, I thought, well, that's really stupid, because, you know, the kid is observing that it's not what she usually sees, and she's asking a question. And I'd rather explain it to the kid than be upset with the kid. I thought that it was a perfectly legitimate question.
It kind of scared me. It's like, oh my gosh, what did I do, right? They created this monster for these poor children. They'll never. And I quickly got to a point where I realized that, yeah, being interracial, an interracial child could be a handicap. But the more I saw and actually experienced people in my community who were interracial, who had interracial kids, I realized, at least I think I did, that kids of interracial upbringing, if the parents are anywhere together at all, I mean, any kind of sense and any kind of intellect, the kids are going to be far better off.
Is there anything you regret or would have done differently? If so, what?
I don't think so. I think that you'll laugh. Sometime when your mother was a teenager, I said something to the effect of, we're just a pretty normal middle-class family.
Bloopers!
One's white.
Bloopers! Wasn't that amazing? Wait. Wasn't that amazing?
All right, ready? We'll do it again. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wasn't that amazing? Can't you believe that my grandparents fit the criteria for the NHD project? It's a project about breaking barriers, and you will see for they are The NHD project is called the National History Day Project. What was I saying? They are an interracially mixed couple. I can't say that word. Thanks for watching. Give this a thumbs up and click the notification down below. Don't forget to subscribe, for that will help me out a lot.